Hi, everyone. Happy holidays. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the day of the Virgin of Guadalupe, or El Día de la Virgen de Guadalupe. And this is a really important holiday for Catholics, specifically Mexican Catholics. Now, we talked about this subject briefly in another one of our episodes about Catholicism and the mix between indigenous and Spanish cultures, as well as Afro-Mexican cultures. But today is December 12th, which is the day of the celebration. While I'm recording this episode, it's the day of the celebration. So I thought that it'd be a really appropriate episode to expand on this day, on the history of the day, and just talk about its importance, because I've celebrated it with my family every year since I was born, and it's an important part of my life.
¿Qué onda? Soy Sebastián y este podcast is Otomi. For all of my non-Spanish native speakers, this is Sebastian, and I'm a high school student in the Bay Area. I've got the facts and the opinions. Join me as we discuss topics of society, culture, identity, education, and life.
All right, everyone. Hello. Thanks for joining me today. Today's episode is going to be about the day of La Virgen de Guadalupe, as I said previously. I haven't been able to upload too many episodes recently because I've been preparing for my final exams of the semester, as well as my college applications are beginning to be finalized. But I really thought that this was an important day, so it would be worth taking the time to make this episode. So now if we're going to talk about El Día de la Virgen de Guadalupe, let's first just talk about the date. So this is a national holiday in Mexico, and it's celebrated on December 12th. Last year, I believe that was a Thursday. This year, it was a Saturday, or today, the day I am recording. The day that it's supposed to resemble is the December 12th of 1531, when the Virgin Mary appeared to the indigenous San Juan Diego.
Cuacleatuatzin.
This holiday is a working day for some people. I just wanted to clarify that, because it is listed as like a national holiday, and banks are closed, but for a lot of companies and businesses, people still work. And sometimes there are masses that are organized by companies and meals for their employees, so they can still partake in this celebration, even if they're working. Now, our question is going to be, how is this day celebrated? And this is something that's really a celebration that people from all around Mexico celebrate. Even here in the U.S., a lot of Chicanos, a lot of Mexican Americans celebrate it. And La Virgen de Guadalupe is displayed as just a huge part of Mexican culture. We have her on candles, on just photographs in her house, and necklaces. It's just a very important symbol of our Mexican identity and being a Catholic Mexican. And for example, Miguel Hidalgo, the Catholic priest who was one of the leaders of the Mexican War of Independence, he was mestizo, and he's seen as the father of the nation. In one of the famous paintings of him in El Grito de Dolores, one of those first calls for the revolution, for the independence, that was, in that image, he has a flag or a banner with the Virgin Mary of Guadalupe, right? La Virgen de Guadalupe. That's just how central, how essential the La Virgen de Guadalupe is for the Mexican identity and that creation of an autonomous state. Now, this day became a holiday officially in 1859. Now, La Virgen de Guadalupe had become the patron saint of Mexico in 1746. So that's really where she has just immense symbolism for our country itself. And this day is usually celebrated with a mass and a fair, and just these people go out and eat and have a good time together, and they pray together, and it's a really important event. But kind of the mecca, the center point of this religious holiday is in Mexico City, where the whole historic event took place, in Villa de Guadalupe Hidalgo, which is in Mexico City. And that's where this event took place, in that basilica, the Basilica of the Virgen de Guadalupe, right? And there are thousands of people, tens of thousands of people who travel to Mexico City and visit this place where the Virgin appeared. Last night, my mom was she was watching a mass at midnight, because usually they do it at midnight on December 12th. And that counted as if you were actually at mass, which was interesting. But it's also because of the fact that there are limitations to people actually congregating, obviously because of the pandemic. So the reason that counted as a mass is that just people should not congregate together when there is a global pandemic taking place. And in other parts of Mexico, they also have celebrations, because, the centerpiece of this is in that basilica in Mexico City, where there are pilgrims from all around the country who visit, who bring flowers, and who come and ask for miracles to be granted. And that is really the culmination of the event occurs in that place. But there are variations of it that also occur throughout Mexico, and there are different local variations that come with, because obviously not everyone can afford to go to Mexico City for this event, even though a lot of people do, and they really put a lot of effort into actually going there and being in the basilica and celebrating the celebration with everyone. A lot of people have to stay in their own region and celebrate it there. And that's why there are local customs and local variations that include different types of food, as well as different types of cultural variations to it, bullfights, parades, and that's part of it. Different shows, different music. And that's naturally an effect of the wide variation of cultures, even within Mexico, because there are regional variations of music, of even inhabitants. People are very diverse in Mexico, the way they speak, the food they eat, and their celebrations, as I've spoken about, Afro-Mexican communities, indigenous communities, immigrant communities. They have their own little twist to a lot of these things. They're seen as, a big national Mexican holiday. What happened was, he became a saint. He was canonized. Juan Diego was an indigenous man. He was the first indigenous saint of the Americas. It is believed that he was Chichimeca, and he spoke Nahuatl. And also the Virgin Mary, when she appeared to him, she spoke Nahuatl as well. He was a Native American who was walking to Tepeyac. Tepeyac is a hill around Mexico City. And this was in 1531, as I previously said. And this was on December 12th. And on his walk up towards the hill, he saw the Virgin Mary. She appeared. She was an apparition. Now, this Virgin Mary was a morena. She had dark skin. She had black hair. And she looked like an indigenous person. And she told Juan Diego to go to the bishop and to tell him to build a church at Tepeyac, at the hill. And Juan Diego went to the bishop and told him to exactly what the Virgin Mary had said, to build that temple at the top of Tepeyac. And the bishop didn't believe him. And he just ignored what Juan Diego had said. So then the Virgin Mary appeared again to Juan Diego and told him to try to grab as many flowers as he could from the top of the hill. What happened was, usually, since it was December 12th, there weren't supposed to be flowers at the top of the hill because it was just against the weather, the way, nature works. But when he arrived at the top of the hill, Juan Diego just saw this vast array of colorful roses. And what he did was he collected these roses and he put them into a sort of cloth or a cloak called tilma. And this tilma was made from agave. And what he did was he carried these roses in the tilma all the way back to the bishop. And when he let go of the roses and put down the tilma, there was an image on the tilma. And this image was of the Virgin Mary, and it's the image that we see today, and it's the image that you can see in the Basilica in Mexico City. Now, when the bishop saw this, he had seen that Juan Diego was right. And in seeing this, he commanded that there be a temple built, which is now the Basílica de la Virgen de Guadalupe. He said there must be a temple built here on Tepeyac where this miracle occurred. And that's where we get the Basilica today. And that's why that tilma, which you have inside of the Basilica, protected, is so important. And it's a lot of people see it as a miraculous article that is truly capable of making miracles happen. And to many, even scientific individuals, there are a lot of mysteries that revolve around this image. Some scientists say that there's an absence of brushstrokes on the tilma, while there are others who report there being coloration that doesn't contain any animal or mineral elements, which obviously you'd think would be essential for the time period in which this occurred in the 1500s. So there are a lot of mysteries and a lot of superstition, and for that's also kind of why this article, this art, and this religious item has so much value to it, and why devotees just drawn to it. They see it as a miraculous article, just like I do, and just like my family does. That's why we have necklaces, we have candles, which have this same image. All right, thank you for tuning in. This was a short episode, but I also, as I said previously, I want to keep episodes a little shorter now. And I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new, and I'll see you next time.